I wanted to make a video to show people how to buy cars from a dealership, big dealership, new car dealership. Just to qualify, I'm an automotive technician for over 20 years. I sold cars a long time ago for a dealership. I got out. I've seen all the stories. I didn't last long because I just, the lies are just outrageous. I mean, I've seen it from people, you know, saying that, okay, I'm not going to do that, the deal is off, give me my car back, the one I was going to give as a trade-in, and then the management hiding the keys, blatantly hiding the keys to to keep them in the dealership as long as we can't find the keys. But don't worry, keep one. Then they'll throw them, you want some drinks, something to eat, and they'll just beat them up a little bit more. They're tired, they got kids and stuff. Say, hey, manager, by the way, where we look for the keys, we will find a way to make it work with the deal you have. If you just purchase this extra, we could, some trick, and they'll get them to sign, and then miraculously the keys appeared. So actually, that I think the kids did not appear. I think they eventually, after they signed everything, the keys appeared with the keys for the house and everything. Well, by the way, if that happens, that the keys ever get lost, if that happens to me, I would call the sheriff and say, hey, I need to file a report. I give these people my keys, and if they, I don't know who's got. They have key making machines at dealerships. I don't know if somebody out there went out there and are making keys for my house. And you talk to the manager, you need to call a locksmith to get keys for my car and make me my keys. And also you need to call a locksmith to make keys for my house, because I don't know who's got the keys for my house. I don't know if they're lying and they're holding the keys from me, so, and have the police and have filed a report and everything, and lost keys, and that you don't trust us. I don't know if these people are running a scam on me, so I have to have a sign and get a car. So I don't know who's got my keys out there. They could have been stolen, but they had custody of them, so they're responsible for them, and they need to take care of secure my family, because I'm not going to go home and sleep in my house while somebody else might have my keys. It could be a criminal. I don't know. So push them. They're pushing you. So push back, and push back hard. So I took this lady, before I took it to the dealership. I told her, say, okay, she's like, well, I want to trade my car in. It's like, and first thing, do not trade your car in. Don't do that. Why is that? Because, like, give you an example. If you're going to buy a $30,000 car, the dealership probably bought it for about $20,000, and it's on credit from the factory. They have so many days to sell it and stuff like that. Most of them, but they're hemorrhaging money if they don't sell it. But they got 20 into it, and they're going to sell it to you for 30. And let's say you hear one of those advertisements, $5,000 off, for $5,000 for any clunker, for any car, and your car is worth $1,500. Like, shit, man, that's a great deal. I'm gonna go trade it in. So they give you the $5,000. So that leaves you with $25,000. Now remember, I told you they paid $20,000 for the car. So basically, you're giving them $5,000 on top of what they paid, plus you give them your car for free. If you had sold that car on the street for $200 and had walked in there and told them, I'm going to give you $25,000 for that vehicle, they would have given you the vehicle for $25,000 with a little bit of haggling, and you could have kept $200 in your pocket. As ridiculous as $200 for a car might sound, it's better than giving it away. Okay, you might sell it for $1,000 and keep the $1,000 in your pocket and still get the car for $25,000, the car that you want. Okay, so when you go in there, first thing you're going to do is you're going to have a budget. Now, this lady had a $250 a month budget. They're retired. They're in a fixed income, and that's what she could afford. So $250 times 60 months is $15,000. Okay, which is 5 years. Now, the longer you go into financing, the higher the interest rate. So if you go $250,000 for 60 months, it's $15,000. But if they say, oh, but if you go if you go to a 7-year, which is 84 months, I can get you at $225. I can get you a payment of $225. Let's see what happens when we do that. $225 times 84 months equals $18,900. That means they got you for an extra almost $4,000. And you're thinking you got a good deal because your payment went down $25. Yeah, but the period got extended. Okay? So, don't do that. In order for it to be a good deal, you know, let's say what 200 does to 84 months. 200 by 84 months, which is 7 years. That's $16,800. Okay, you're paying $1,800 more for the total amount of the vehicle if you extend the period of finance in 2 years. Now, you understand, the bank has to make money. Everybody's got to eat. But it doesn't mean they got to eat lobster, you know, off of you. Okay? So, think about that when you go and finance. So I told the lady, I said, look, let's see what we have out there. So we tested a few Mirages, the little ones, the new ones they got, Mirage G4s 2017. So mind you, they have on the windshield written $10,000 up to $10,000 off. So up to, that's the catch. It could be $1 off or $10,000. So I looked at the car and it says $21,000. Now mind you, it said MSRP from a sticker. It looks official. It looks like it was printed at the factory. It's on the sticker of the car. It's a brand new car, and you're thinking, Mitsubishi printed that. No, the dealership printed that and put it there to fool you into thinking that that was printed at the Mitsubishi factory. No, it was printed at the dealership where they're trying to sell it. You want to see what the real MSRP, and what is MSRP? Manufacturer's suggested retail price. That's what the manufacturer suggests that vehicle sells for. And no, it's not the bottom of the range. That is the top of the range, what that vehicle is going to sell for. Okay, MSRP. Okay, these people had an extra $7,000, $6,000 or $7,000 above the real MSRP. How do you find that out? Right there. Take your phone with you. Take it on the car lot and go look. If you're looking for, like we were looking at a car, and the car was a 2017 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, and I put MSRP on my Google on my phone, and it gives me 13 something. Okay, so that's the reality of what they were trying, that they're trying to do. So I tell when we go, and she didn't like the car and stuff, but keep that in mind. Always look at the MSRP online. Okay, don't look at the sticker. The sticker is a gimmick. Okay, it's a scam. All right, so we keep looking, and we go back there, and we find two Mitsubishi Lancers from the year 2015, and they were new. They had never been titled to anybody. They were never sold. They came from the factory, and they sat at a dealership from 2015. Actually, I did not look at the date of production. You can go on any car, open the door of your car, and either the door sill or the door pillar, it will give you, says, date of MFG, date of manufacturer. And if it was 2015, I bet you anything that it was manufactured at the end of 2014, which means they probably started selling that car in at the end of 2014, because the model years come out right before the model year starts. So it was manufactured probably in 2014. They've been trying to sell it probably since the end of 2014. And it's 2017, and they still haven't sold it. That car hasn't sold in 2 years, over 2 years. Okay, keep that in mind. So not only did they have one, they had two Lancers that hadn't sold in that dealership from 2015, and they were new. Okay, so I said right there, okay, here's our chance. They need to move those cars. They're depreciated. Now you keep this in mind. When cars sit in a lot, they're depreciating. And at the end of the fiscal year, when they're going to do their taxes, their corporation for the dealership is going to do their taxes. Their CPA looks at the books. They see their inventory, and they depreciate that inventory because it's depreciating, and they're allowed to take that depreciation off of the value of the car, so that when their inventory is stated the next year, it's reduced as far as cash value. Okay, so they don't have to pay, and they take that off as a loss, inventory, as a depreciation loss. So they don't have to pay taxes on that, and it decreases the value of the asset that much. Okay, of the car in this instance. And cars depreciate. They're not like houses for the most part, unless you have a crash. But keep that in mind. So we go to this negotiating table, and they come back with a price all out about almost 17 grand. Now, mind you, right there, the car had 22 miles. That's a new car. Now, if you do the math, 22 miles, and you do 2 or 3 miles per test drive, that car had 5 test drives in 2.5 years. 5-6 test drives. That's it. And think about that. A car at a dealership that's been tried, that people are they're trying to sell it, and it's 4 or 5 test drives in over 2 years. Nothing. Okay, so they're in trouble right now. So mind you, when they take the depreciation off, that depreciates the value of the car as far as how much they have into the car, actually have into the car. So I'll be very surprised if they have a cash value on that car of $8,000, if that. Okay, so after the depreciation hit and everything, so they're sitting pretty on the car, even though they wrote it off. So we sit at the table, and I'm looking at the car, and I'm looking at the price they're trying to get, $13,900 for the car. So I go on Kelley Blue Book. I look it up, the car, Mitsubishi Lancer, 2015, the model, the whatever, and then I show it to the guy. I said, listen, this is what this car is worth. I think it was $13,300, and that's, now mind you, Kelley Blue Book overstates values. That's retail value. Okay, that's retail value. That's high. Okay, so even with overstated value, they were trying to get more money than the car was worth out of my customer, my friend that I took to help buy the car. So I showed it to him and said, you're asking me to pay you more than the car is worth because you couldn't sell it. That's not my problem. That's not your problem. If they can't sell it, or they order too many, that's a purchasing manager's mistake, not yours. Okay, you don't have to pay for other people's mistakes, right? So, and if you go and if you make an appraisal on a house that you're going to buy, and it comes in at $150,000, but the owner says, but this is a new house, I want $180,000, you say, well, have a nice day, good luck. First of all, most people don't pay 100% appraised value. Banks don't lend 100% value of the house, and certainly not going to give you $180,000 loan on a $150,000 house. So right there we have a problem. So he's like, yeah, but it's a new car that has not been titled for whatever reason, and blah blah blah. And it's like, I can just take it to the auction. I'm like, okay, so take it to the auction and go deal with those wolves in there. Offer you $7,000 or $8,000 for that car. Good luck. Plus, you got to pay a $350 to $400 auction fee to sell that car. Okay, so remember that when you go in there, don't be shy. Look for those cars that are old, that are new, but are from the model year, the previous model year, because they need to get rid of them because they're bleeding money. They're losing their asses off. So when we go in there, he didn't want to budge. I told him, look, I give you $13,900 out the door, and we'll make it happen today, even though we can just go somewhere else, or there are a gazillion dealers in the place that we went. And the guy came back and he wouldn't budge. He thinks, and one of his arguments is, I can just leave it there and it'll sell. Say, you're not going to sell it for what you're trying to sell it, and you're not going to get any type of decent money at the auction, and it's depreciating. So remember that when you go into a dealership, you have the upper hand. They don't. You can always Uber to work, okay? But they're stuck with that vehicle. They can't return it to the factory. They have to sell it. Okay, and don't feel sorry for these people. And then here's the other trick: don't feel sorry. Oh, we're losing money. They're not losing money. Okay, They're not losing money. If you don't believe me, go to CarMax and try to sell them your car and see how much they offer you for your car. It's about 50% of what the car is worth on the street if you're lucky. And also, when you go into the finance office, they'll try to upsell you on a bunch of other stuff. We'll need a special protection for the paint because this car comes, and this is the greatest deal. It's a $3,000 deal. We'll give it to you for $1,500 today. We'll finance it. We'll put it into your payment. Toyota did that to thousands and thousands of people. They screwed them over. I call them the $1,000 wax job. I don't know if you remember those trucks and the Toyota, but especially the trucks, the red paints. They were all trash. They all got oxidized in 2 years, and it's just a $1,000 wax job or a $1,500 wax job. They screwed people over. There were no recalls on that paint. They screwed everybody over. Toyota. So don't buy any of the stuff they try to sell you. Oh, you need to buy this. I say, where does it say that I need to buy that? I'm not. This is the price we agreed on the car. This is what I'm going to pay for the car, or you get up and you go. Okay? Now remember that. You got to be tough. Don't be scared. These people are most of the dealerships that I know, they're a bunch of scam artists and rip-offs and liars and manipulators, unfortunately. Okay, unfortunately, that's how they do business. They don't need to. If you need to lie to sell something, you stink as a salesperson. But keep those in mind. I hope it makes your car buying experience better. And it usually doesn't. It's going to be uncomfortable. But beat them up for a much, and stay away from those places that have one price selling. Stay away from them. You don't want that. You want to beat them up for as much money as you can. They're going to eat anyways. They're going to eat because they have what's called a pack, and it's money that they don't tell you about. It's hush hush money that the factory gives them in incentives, so to sell more vehicles. Okay. And money that they put on top of what they say called the invoice. That's not what they paid for the car. And if you hear the car dealership commercials, at the end of the commercial, there's a guy saying blah, 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 1,000 words per minute. That's the real ad that they should put. Those are the real terms. But they don't want you to hear that. That's really fast, so you can't hear it. The rest is bullshit. It's all a bunch of fucking lies. Okay, so good luck out there, and go get your cars for as cheap as you can.